oh no, I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, short, tall. You know, I don't care. If I think you're stealing, I'm gonna follow you around. And you know, it just has to do with, you know, if you're wearing big bags, if you know, if you stole from another Ulta and they told us, and I know that you're gonna probably hit this Ulta too. So, you know, those women, you know, I've seen them steal before. And I said, really?
Stupid.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Jasenia here, and I am killing it with these pre-recorded videos. Today's video is going to be a story time. I'm going to be talking about my experience working at Ulta Beauty and how it may have been racist. To hear this story, be sure to keep on watching, but before we get started, be sure to click the link in the description box to download my free hair extension care ebook to figure out how to keep your hair extensions looking bomb after months of use. This hair I've worn every day for the past 3 to 4 months, put heat on it every day, and it's still out here living life. So click that link, sis. Be sure to smash that subscribe button, like this video, share it, and let's get started. So let's flash back. So I started working at Ulta in about, I want to say, June of 2017. Ulta Beauty was my very first real like clock in, clock out jobs. I've had other work opportunities. I've done sales and freelance work and internships, but I never had like a real job. Not that sales isn't a real job. Anyways, so I was super excited to work at Ulta because I love makeup. I used to always shop at Ulta, always be at Sephora, so I've always wanted to work there. So I had taken a free webinar from Ashley Devana here on YouTube called How to Impress the Interviewer. In that webinar, she teaches you how to curate this beautiful resume. She gives you tips and tricks on the perfect things to put in your resume and your cover letter to land the perfect job. So I took her webinar, got the job at Ulta. I was so ecstatic. I was so happy because I've always wanted to work there. And I thought, what a perfect first job. Like, I actually got a job that I wanted to work at. So the interview process and everything was it was normal. You know, I put in my application. Nobody called me. So I just called them a bunch of times until I could get a definitive interview date. Got an interview, came in, interviewed. They hired me on the spot. So it wasn't too difficult for me. So I got hired as a beauty advisor. And basically a beauty advisor, as described by Ulta, the beauty advisor is responsible for providing an exceptional experience for all Ulta Beauty guests by engaging each guest to determine individual needs, keeping fixtures fully stocked with merchandise, performing cashier duties, maintaining overall store cleanliness, and completing tasks as assigned. So that was my position. The beauty advisor is the most entry-level position at Ulta. So you're basically the cashier. So all you do all day is really stock, ring people up, and clean. That's pretty much what you do. I guess I went in with the mindset thinking that I'd be on the cash rep, I'd be helping people match foundation, I'd be giving people advice on makeup and trying to hit sales. Like, I wasn't doing any of that. I was on the register. At the time, my manager at the time did tell me that I was going to get a chance to do makeup because with my resume, I also submitted a portfolio with makeup looks that I had done, and she looked at them and said that they were great and that I would get a chance to do makeup in the store. That never happened. So I honestly didn't have any problems with my job at all for the first few months. I was getting great hours for part-time. I'm in cosmetology school, so they worked around my schedule. I didn't have any issues with my paychecks. Nobody was mean to me. Nobody was rude. I honestly had little to no issues. If I had an issue, it was because of the way I was being treated by a customer, not by the way I was being treated by my employer. So when I was onboarded at Ulta, we didn't have a GM because the GM had just left and they were in the process of bringing in another GM. So a few months after I was onboarded, we had a new GM, and I'm just gonna call her Caitlin. So Caitlin was the new GM. She was super bubbly and excited. So off the bat, I liked her. I was like, oh, okay, she's really excited and passionate about her job, and the store, great. So the only thing I didn't like is nobody really introduced me to her. It was just I showed up one day and she was there and I had no idea who she was. And I remember somebody called on the phone asking to speak to Caitlyn, and I asked the head cashier, like, do you know who Caitlyn is? And she was like, that's the GM. And I was like, okay, I didn't know that. Like, nobody told me anything. Like, there's always random people in our store. There's always random people from Ulta in our store, so I never know who's who or what's going on. She finally introduced herself to me, I think, later on one morning while I was there stocking. So basically, shortly after she came in, Ulta rolled out the credit cards. And if you've been to Ulta within the past couple of months, you were probably asked to take out a store credit card. And the benefits of the card is, you know, you get extra points, blase, blase, whatever. So she was really pushing these cards, and she was saying, oh, well, you know, you really, really need to ask everybody, do they want to take out the card? If they say no, just ask them to run it anyways. You know, tell them we'll give them a free bag or free lipstick. Do this. Like, she was really, really trying to get these cards. So I was like, okay. So I was doing everything they told me to do. I was smiling. I asked every single person that came to my checkout. I pretty much did everything that they told me to do, and I think I signed up one credit card the whole time. I never signed up a bunch of cards, and I was always being reprimanded for not signing up cards. I noticed that it was a pattern of every time there was a person of color who was especially dark skinned and male, but it didn't really matter whether it was male or female, but especially when it was males who came in that wasn't dressed in like a suit or didn't look like they worked in corporate America. If you were a black girl and you had bright red hair, or you wore bright lipstick and you had bright hair and you wore like a crop top and jeans or something, if you look like that, she would follow you. Like, as soon as you walked in the door, I remember one time it was a woman, it was two women. One was like a bigger, heavier set woman, and she had on like a baseball hat. It wasn't covering her face, but it was like, because I think she had it on backwards, but she had on like a baseball cap, and she had like ombre red hair, and she was wearing a t-shirt, like a graphic tee and whatever. And the other one with her looked kind of similar, and as soon as they walked in the door, she got on the radio. I was like, is that a red flag? Is that a red flag? And I'm just like at the cash rep, like ringing somebody out, and I'm listening to her in the radio, and I'm just like, what is she talking about? I know she's not talking about them, because they didn't do anything. All they did was walk in the store. So like I said, it was Caitlyn, and then it was some other managers. So we're gonna call Caitlyn, and then it was Brenda, and then Mickey. We're gonna call them that. So Caitlyn says, is this a red flag? Is this a red flag? And then Brenda and Mickey are like, they're just looking around like, and they all just follow like the woman. So I just want y'all, I just want you to envision. So it's a Ulta, a regular Ulta. Two black women walk in the store. A group of middle-aged Caucasian women immediately get alarmed and start following them. Not like following them, like all three of them, but like they all started dispersing out. They were all like doing things with the fixtures. They all stopped. They all started dispersing out. Caitlyn started asking them, oh, do you guys need any help? Like, can I help you with anything? And then they went in the perfume aisle, and Caitlyn lost it. She said that she was calling security, and that she swear she just put something in her bag. And it was just, I was so tight. Like, I was so pissed, because I was like, y'all have been on these two women since they walked in the store. Since they walked in the store. So they didn't steal anything at the end of the whole situation. They didn't take anything. They bought something. I'm surprised they bought that. I mean, I wouldn't have bought anything from an Ulta that was being followed around. So there was this white man that came in the store, and he had this large bag, and he came right in, stole cologne, and walked right out. with no issues. They didn't realize that he stole until after that man was long gone. And I just thought it was interesting how a black person could come in who could be innocent. Maybe they are having the intent to steal, or maybe they aren't, are not going to be given that chance to take anything to steal, because as soon as they walk in, y'all are going to judge them and y'all are going to follow them around the store and pay extra close attention to them. But a middle-aged white man or a middle-aged white woman can walk in the store, have the intent to stick up the place, and y'all wouldn't think twice about it. Y'all wouldn't ever think in your mind, well, maybe we should pay attention to this guy. He looks suspicious. No. That's how it was at my store. It was really like that. So I talked to my manager about it one morning when I got into work. I asked, can I talk to you? And she was like, sure. So sat down in her office and I told her, I noticed the other day what went down with the 2 women that came in the store. And you guys thought they were stealing. And she was like, yeah. And I was like, so I just wanted to know what's the proper protocol for determining if somebody is suspicious or not, because I noticed it seems to be a pattern with people who look a certain way versus others. And as soon as I said that, she knew exactly what I was talking about, and she's like, oh no, I don't care what color you are. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian, short, tall. I don't care. If I think you're stealing, I'm gonna follow you around. And it just has to do with, if you're wearing big bags, if you you stole from another Ulta and they told us, and I know that you're gonna probably hit this Ulta too. So, those women, I've seen them steal before. And I said, really? And then she went on to say, oh yeah, I get followed in Walmart all the time, so I completely understand. Yeah, I get followed in Walmart all the time. This guy, he follows me all the time. It's because I shop with a really large bag. So I just said okay, and I kept it pushing. Tell me why the following week my hours started dropping. I went from getting about 22 hours a week working part-time to getting 4 hours a week. It didn't drop completely. It went from 22, then I started getting like 10 hours, then it was like 6 hours, then I was getting 4 hours. They would call me into work to work 4 hours one day out the week. And the first time I asked, well, I was just wondering if I can get some more hours, are there any more times I could work? And they would say, oh, well, your availability changed. I thought you changed. I said, no, I never changed my availability. I'm available Monday through Wednesday from 12 to 7. And she said, oh, well, yeah, somebody changed it to only Monday 2 to 4. And this, get this wasn't Caitlin talking. This was Brenda. So Brenda was the manager pretty much under Caitlin. So she was like, oh, I don't know. Well, somebody must have changed it. So then she said she would change it back. So she claims that she changed it back. So then the next week I got 4 hours again. I didn't say anything, but that next week when they gave me another 4 hours, I said something. And I said, oh, well, I was just checking to see if you updated my availability. And she said, oh, yeah, she did. So then I asked Caitlin, and Caitlin's like, oh, well, wait, no, y'all, I got the story wrong. The person that told me that my availability had changed was Caitlin. That's the GM. Okay. So I told her, she said that she would change it. The next day I asked Brenda, the manager under her, had my availability been changed. She said no, so she said she was going in the computer now to change it. So she changed it then, I guess. Then I kept getting the 4 hours for 2 weeks. So then I asked Caitlin again. And she said, oh, well, retail has been going down. So for like 2 months, retail was low. For 2 months, because every time I asked pretty much every week, and it was the same thing. Oh, retail has just been really low. Retail is really low. Retail is really low, but it helps if you sign up cards. It really helps if you sign up cards, but yeah, retail has been really low. So I kept asking, because I just didn't really get it. So then, tell me why Caitlin calls me into her office one day at work. And she's like, so I just wanted to talk to you. And I said, oh, okay. And she said, well, yeah, I've been hearing that you've been calling the store asking for hours. And she said it like, I was like, yeah. Like, pretty much I was like, what are you trying to say? Like, am I supposed to be threatened? Am I supposed to be, what was that? Oh, I hear you've been calling the store asking the girls for hours. I was like, yes, I have. I've been asking about my schedule because you guys told me that the reason I wasn't getting hours initially is because my availability had changed out of the blue. Then it's because retail is low. So I'm just not understanding how retail has been low for a whole 2 months. And who applies for a job thinking they're going to work 4 hours every week? So she says, oh, well, here's how this goes. You can't expect me to give you hours if you don't sign up cards. Now, you know, you have only signed up like 1 or 2 cards, and your loyalty has even been dropping lately. And granted, I understand I haven't trained you, but still, you should be signing up cards. And I said, yeah, I haven't been trained. I'm the only one who hasn't been trained. She said, yeah, I know I've been meaning to train you, but I'm just like, how are you reprimanding me by taking away my hours? And you haven't even trained me, and you're aware of that. So basically everybody else in the store had gotten trained, and everybody else was picking up cards, and I was the only one who hadn't been trained, and I was the only one also not picking up cards. So at this point, I was just so irritated. And then she called Brenda in the room, and Brenda was in there talking to her about whatever. And I just told her, I said, actually, you know, I'm getting really busy with school, and I have to, you know, make up days on the beginning side of the week. So I don't think me being here is gonna really work with that anyway. So I'm gonna need to put in my 2-week notice. And she was like, oh, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to explain that. No, that's completely fine. You want to just do it now? And I said, what do you mean now? Because I'm thinking like I have to email it, type it up, bring it in. She's like, no, you don't have to do all that. You could just write it down. It's fine. Just say, you know, to Ulta store 00 blank blank blank. You know, I enjoyed my time here, but you know, so and so, and you're good. And I was like, okay. So I did it, which I don't recommend doing because she could have just thrown that in the trash. And if I ever wanted to work at Ulta again, she could easily say that I never put in one. So not a great idea. But I did that, and she was like, yeah, we're on good terms. So if you ever want to come back, and when you graduate from cosmetology school, if you ever want to come back and stack shampoos for me, you know, we'd be happy to help. We'd be happy to have you. And I was just like, okay. So, finish out my last 2 weeks, and I just left, y'all. I was so tired of being there. I hated being there. I hated being there. I hated being there. I hated every second of working there. It's not fun working at Ulta. Like, honestly, like, if you want to work there, just keep in mind that the whole thing with the hours, I looked up on Google on Glassdoor. Glassdoor is a website where employees can basically rate their employer and give you inside tea on what it's like working for them. Apparently that happens all the time. Like, they'll just give one person like 4 hours, and I guess it's because they want them to quit. I don't know, but I couldn't take it any longer. I had to leave. I was making no money there. And I take the train and the bus. It takes me 2 hours to get to Ulta for me to work 4 hours to do another 2-hour commute to come back. Coming home was only like, what is that, like $20-something? That's such a waste of time. That's such a waste of time. I started freelance writing, and I'm going in with these YouTube videos. So I just had to get creative with the income because Ulta wasn't working. So that's my story. If you work at Ulta, please comment down below and let me know your experience, or if you worked there before. If you're thinking about applying to Ulta, don't let this video discourage you. This is just my take, and just keep in mind that this could happen to you because it happened to me and I worked at Ulta. Give this video a big old thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to pick up your free ebook on the way out. The link is in the down bar, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.